Hi guys, Michael Abayimi here. So we finally got all the information we're waiting for regarding the launch of the PS5, namely the price and the release dates. This came during yesterday's PS5 showcase event, which itself was a direct response to all the information that came out from Microsoft regarding the upcoming launch of the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series X. So in today's video, I'll be going over the various highs and lows of this particular event. The PS5 will be retailing for $499, while the PS5 Digital Edition will be retailing for $399. The console will be releasing in Tier 1 countries on the 12th of November, while the rest of us have to wait a full extra week until the 19th of November to get our hands on the console. So for the guys in the US, this is just 2 days after Microsoft's launch of the Xbox Series S and Xbox Series X. So you can imagine how hectic that particular week is going to be, with 4 major consoles launching by 2 of the largest console manufacturers in 1 week. It's going to be really interesting to see how everything plays out for sure. So but the event wasn't about just the price and the release date, as we also got a lot of reviews for new and upcoming games. Out of all the new games that are revealed, I think one of my favorite ones was the upcoming Harry Potter RPG game, Hogwarts Legacy. So I don't know if you know this, but I'm actually a huge Potterhead. I've been a Harry Potter fan since basically 2002. This was right around when the movies came out, and ever since the game leaked back in 2018, I've always had my ear to the ground hoping to hear more information about the project, but we actually never got any confirmation until this unveiling during the PS5 showcase. And from what was shown, it looks like the game is going to get all the elements right. This looks like it's going to be an open world styled RPG where players get to create their own characters and explore the world of Harry Potter, namely Hogwarts and the surrounding villages of Hogsmeade. So basically everything that was shown looked very good, and I can't wait to actually get more information about the game. The game is currently slated for a 2021 release date, which means we won't have to wait much longer until we actually know more and actually get the games in our hands. Another game that was shown that I was really intrigued by is the forthcoming Final Fantasy XVI. So the reason why I'm actually impressed is this is coming just this is like just a year after Final Fantasy VII Remake. Granted, that was probably another team that worked on that, and the last actual numbered Final Fantasy game we got was all the way back in 2015 with Final Fantasy 15. The turnaround with all these games are usually longer than typical series, so to get in another Final Fantasy game within 6 years is even on its own that's a very fast turnaround. And when you consider the fact that we just got part 1 of the Final Fantasy VII Remake, it's actually a very good time to be a Final Fantasy fan. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that one as well. Then I think arguably the biggest game that was shown, or rather not that it was shown, but the biggest game that was hinted at was the God of War Ragnarok. This is a sequel to the 2018 God of War game, which itself is considered one of the biggest PlayStation 4 exclusive release to date. So having confirmation that we'll be getting a PS5 sequel was everything we've been waiting for. So yes, I'm actually looking forward to that. I just wish they actually showed some gameplay, and I'm kind of concerned about the 2021 release window that was given, because let's face it, 2021 is just next year, and with the way things are currently in the world now with COVID and all the work from home situations and everything, the likelihood of this game getting delayed seems quite high, especially since we didn't even get to see any gameplay. But who knows? I'm actually curious, and I'm actually going to be very happy if we actually get to have the game released next year. Then we got extended looks at games we already know were coming, like Demon's Souls, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and even Deathloop. And all the games actually looks quite good, especially Demon's Souls. Demon's Souls looks like the first true next-gen visuals that I can say I've seen, because the graphics that were shown were nothing short of beautiful. I never actually played the original game, and I'm generally not a fan of Soulsborne games, but everything that was shown in this one makes it look like a very compelling reason to get a PS5 when the console launches in November. So like I hinted at the start of the video, there were also a bunch of issues and problems surrounding the PS5 showcase, and most of them came as information drops following the events. I'll start with the one I consider the most shocking, which is the fact that most of the games that are currently slated to launch within the launch window of the PS5 are actually cross-gen games. What does this mean? This means that we're actually going to be getting those same games on PS4, which is actually counter to what Sony had led all of us to believe. Because up until this point, we're given the impression that these games were being developed solely for the PS5. And one of the criticisms that Microsoft has been getting for its own games on the Xbox Series X is the fact that those games were being held back by the current generation consoles. The fact that they still have to develop for the Xbox One S and even the original Xbox VCR that launched all the way back in 2013. So these were all believed to be holding back the possibilities of what we could get in the next gen games. Only for us to find out that all along, Sony has actually been doing the same to its own PlayStation 5 games. And at this point, I won't be surprised if we actually learn that even more games, like the forthcoming Demon's Souls, will also be making an appearance on PS4. So this was definitely something I didn't expect to happen, and I'll count it as a bit of a disappointment. Not that I mind, but at the same time, it's one thing for you to give us the impression that this is what you're doing, then only for you to like backtrack, do a double take, and this is where we are now. So that's my main problem with this particular revelation. Then the next thing I have an issue with is the revelation of the price points for these PS5 games. So from what we're seeing thus far, it's looking like PS5 games will be retailing for $70, with games like Demon's Souls already being confirmed to be coming in at that price point. This is $10 more expensive than people are currently used to paying for, and with some budget titles even going as low as $40 or even less. So it's going to take some adjustment for us to get used to the new price points, especially coming at a year during which is the worst possible time for them to decide to raise prices for their games. Because this is a year that a lot of people have lost their jobs, a lot of people are actually struggling to make ends meet, and video games at the end of the day are actually a luxury item. So we can't actually expect people to prioritize having to buy all these games. So the price increase, while inevitable in the long scheme of things, is coming at a very bad time. Like, this is a very bad time for them to decide to hike up their prices. So looking at all these things together, it's making it look like there's no real compelling reason to get a PS5 on day one. And let's face it, the early adopters are basically beta testers. They are the ones that run into the issues firsthand, and the ones that have to report all these issues and all the quirks that will eventually get worked out of the console. I actually didn't pick up a PS4 to 2017. After the Slim Edition had been released, and by then a bunch of first-party games had already amassed for me to play. So I'm in a way leaning towards waiting a bit just to get a feel for how the PS5 is going to be when it launches. But as things currently stand, the only game that is looking like a system seller, in my opinion, is the forthcoming God of War 2 game. And since we barely got any information about this game, I'm going to be looking forward to getting more information to see if this is actually a proper sequel, or if this is going to be more like a Miles Morales and it will be functioning as a standalone, like half step between a proper sequel. Because let's face it, that turnaround time is actually quite fast. The last game was 2018 and this one is supposed to come out 2021. So unless they're able to convince me in the next couple of months, I'll say getting a PS5 on day one is currently something that I don't see myself doing. But that's just my own opinion. Will you be getting a PS5 on day one? Or are you already in the Microsoft camp and you're looking forward to picking up a Xbox Series S instead? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more discussions like this one. And until the next one, this is Michael signing off.